Hello and welcome into So Rare with Laird. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdino on So Rare, talking today about So Rare 26. It really sounds like a video game. It really does. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, there have been some very passionate responses to yesterday's new gameplay announcement, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today. Maybe a lot today, because that's just what we do. That's what we do here. It's all we need to do at this point is talk about I think it's a combination of what the announcement said now that I've had a little time to digest it. Obviously, when we meaning me and Harry Trades, or Harry Trades and I, went through it yesterday, it was a live reaction. And so kind of what you saw our immediate responses and everybody in the live chat's immediate responses. And then if you go to Twitter, which is kind of like my main social media mode of seeing what other people seeing what people I don't know think about So Rare, and a little bit of Discord, which is some people I know, and then in other Discords I don't know them, or I kind of like know them through Discord. But there were a lot of passionate responses yesterday. And one of the things that I want to kind of get out of the way right now, because it's on my mind, it's actually two things. One is I saw some feedback that had it wasn't like directed at me, but I think I'm someone who generally tries to be positive about things. And in certain situations, I try to find positives instead of harping on negatives. And not to say that I don't think negatives exist. Obviously, they do, or that they should be ignored. But I try to find the positives in things. And I actually did see a comment from somebody. Was it River So Rare? Might have been. It wasn't directly at this, but it was basically how I tend to be a little more positive about things, So Rare wise. And I don't want any of this and what I say to come off like I'm, speaking for So Rare, or, I'm certainly not speaking for So Rare or on behalf of them, but I'm not here to justify everything that they've done. But I do think that I tend to be on a more positive side that makes me appear like I am, what's the appropriate word? Straw man for So Rare, if you will. And I want to say that there were lots of people who were upset yesterday about the update. And I'm going to talk about like why they were upset, because I understand why they were upset. But I also want to remind everyone that specifically on Twitter, but also it comes up in Discord because people end up sharing it, but the negative stuff tends to get amplified. And there were a number of people that I spoke to kind of in smaller groups who read through the update yesterday, maybe watched the stream that Harry and I did. And the response was kind of like, okay, like this could be fun. Or, all right, I understand what's going on and I'll wait for the prize pools to figure out if this is what I want to play. Or, yeah, I totally get it and I'm still in. And if you're sitting there like looking around and seeing loads of negativity, because admittedly there is, but if you're sitting there thinking that you still like it, that's okay. It's okay to still like So Rare. It's okay if you read all of these people who've been around for a long time talking about how the game is gone and everything's dead and that they're going to sell up and they're gone. And you could feel differently, and that's okay to feel differently. And don't feel bad if you like what they announced, or not that you don't like, or not that you necessarily love what they announced, but you still enjoy it and you think that you'll be having a good time with the game moving forward. Like don't let negativity around you make you feel like you are in the wrong by feeling good about it. And I needed to say that right away because I think most of this conversation will focus on what people see as negatives, and we'll talk about, and I do think that there are negatives. Like, I'm not here to say like, oh, the update was so great, this is why you're wrong to feel bad about it. But don't feel bad about feeling good. Full stop. Thank you to everybody for coming in. Jeremy, first, like, probably too early for podium though. Jeremy, there's no too early for a podium. First gets first. Pico Player and Ryan Walter on the podium. Congratulations to you three. Ryan said yesterday's recap Sorare blog, today recap Bhab's blog. I will say Bhab wrote an excellent summary on the update yesterday. And I will say this as somebody who used to write for a living, and I even have some awards back here for my writing. I really appreciate good writing, and I love the way that Bhab writes. And so it's an excellent read, and everybody should check that out. Is he just Bhab on Twitter? That's where I saw it. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to find it. But if somebody in the chat read it and could share it, I would greatly appreciate it, because this is a very good read. And there were some very good points. And Bhab is someone specifically who I really like Bhab's opinion or viewpoint on things. And we disagree on certain things. And I think yesterday's announcement, particularly with Super Rare and Unique, affected him greatly, just like Jono and Pranksy here. So we'll get into all of that. But anyway, great read. So definitely check that out. Bob Franklin, Alex Wilson, what's up? Anyan, appreciate everybody coming in. James, what's up? Of course, Mikey Baston. Martin said, ask Nep to discuss. He likes everything on the update. So I did watch Nep's video. It came out this morning for me, and he is fairly positive about it. Nep and I actually talked a little bit yesterday about the update, and I don't know if anything in that conversation got into his video, meaning what we talked about, and it changed his opinion at all. But he is fairly positive about it, and Super Rare and Unique aside. So yeah, he's fairly positive about it, but I think part of that is because he and I see this kind of similarly, that the arena is going to play a gigantic role in Sorare moving forward, and he loves the arena, so like he thinks that's a positive. But maybe I'll ask Nep to discuss even further after we get through this and figure out where to go. Olaf said, to be fair, I think if you don't play Super Rare and Unique like Nep, then the update doesn't sound anything too crazy. I guess way less lineups to play. Yeah. So again, we'll get that. Got the Saints on the screen and the stream on the other. Yeah, I'm missing an MFL Patron Saints match. 3 of them probably. I think they play back to back to back, or maybe back to back. I don't know for this. So anyway, and you said we need to understand and keep in mind that in limited, most supply almost doubled, so they have had to find a solution to keep more people rewarded. I think the approach is good and makes sense, which some of it does for sure. Soraburo, what's up? Ricky, Levies. I'm pretty sure that's what we said, right? Levies. I swear that's what it was. Dobbsy, what's up? David, thank you. Big Mr. K14, the Play MFL AI analyst, left Sorare over 6 months ago, but given all the Twitter drama, I'm here to find out what's up. Oh, how about that? Might be an MFL stream later. I haven't figured it out yet. Bullstar, what's up? Thanks for coming in. Skazma said, if the platform wasn't going to die, aside from ass blasting big whales, I'm warming to the update depending on rewards. Wow, that's like straight out of the Sean Newsham dictionary of terms. Danny, what's up? Appreciate the kind words on the content. If anybody likes to support content, and particularly mine, patreon.com/AndrewMLaird. You can join for as little as $5 a month to, keep it all coming. Red or Dead, what's up? Mike said your tweet deck must be tired today. It's busy. It's busy. James said the world has become so tribal. You'll either be called a cheerleader or a hater for saying the same thing to different people. Yeah. Charlie said, Twitter is a spiral of negativity. If the prize pools are reasonable, then I don't think it moves the needle too much. I'm indifferent to the announcement, to be honest. Don't love it or hate it. I have a weird thing with Twitter because I adore it. I really do. But yeah, it's just like a cesspool of negativity. And again, as I said, like I tend to be a fairly positive person in life, not just, I mean, really not on So Rare. But I think, as Mike mentioned, I use TweetDeck, and the way that I see the way that Twitter works for me is very different than a lot of people. Like I never look at the For You stuff, and so I pretty much have like lists set up um, to get me through every. I mean, I guess I could share it with you guys so you can really see what I'm talking about. But like, this is how my day looks. My day, as if like, well, I probably do spend most of the day on Twitter. But anyway, this is what it looks like. And then I have like all these different things. And then I have one people talking about server data, which I probably don't need anymore. And then So Rare and stuff like that. But that's it. Anyway, so yeah. Dobbsy said, I'm looking forward to what's to come. Don't get me wrong. The no contender or challenger stuff is a little weird right now, but still just wait and see. Holty, who's still not on Discord, for me, it would be absolutely fine if they just kept single league comps plus contender and challenger, but I don't play super rare and unique. Fabio said, what do you think will happen to the cards from Argentina, Korea, and Japan? I don't know. We're like a day out from the announcement, maybe not 24 hours. And I do think that it's extremely weird that the words contender and challenger did not appear at all. And I don't want to talk much about my reaction to the actual communication, but those are two core competitions right now. And to just leave that up in the air, like just saying what the core competitions will be, doesn't necessarily answer the question of will the others still exist. And you would think like, oh, they obviously do, but they obviously don't, because everybody's still asking, particularly because it's like, oh no, MLS will continue. So then it's like, all right, well, if they're not in the core competitions and they're not in the section of this will continue, then it's like, oh, they won't continue. But also then what the hell happens to all of our in-season Argentina, Korea, Japan, and Norway cards that still have loads of in-season utility left? Yes, Borjesp said, I feel good about feeling bad about feeling good. I feel good about feeling bad about feeling good. Love that. Yeah, great. You should. I presumed it was a silent H on Behab. Am I wrong? Like Bob? I don't know. I've always just said Behab for some reason. I have no idea why, now that you say that. And agree, Danny. He writes brilliantly. I echo Fabio. My gallery is almost 90% J League in season. So let me get through the chat. Finish. Welcome everybody. I feel a bit under the weather as a contender dominant gallery owner. Bullstar said, I'm amazed by how many people have made sweeping judgments without having half the info. I would even, if the all-star prize pool is good, contender and challenger cards will be OP again. Yeah. Scott Jenkins, just out of interest, Laird, from the people you speak with in the community, what were people's ROIs like for in-season 24-25? I have no idea. Struggling to get a gauge on if most people found that it was worth it or not. I don't know, James. I am working on something that hopefully will make that much easier. I think a lot of people don't know because it's an extremely manual process. It's a giant pain in the ass to like, how much did I spend? How much did I win every single game week? And so I'm working on something that hopefully will make that easier for people. But I don't know. I haven't even done it for myself yet. James said, I like Nep's viewpoint of the extra single league comps. Interested to see where that goes. So that's what I want to talk about first. Bullstar said, has there been confirmation there is no in-season challenger or contender? There hasn't, and I think that's the problem. Levy said, if they already kind of resurrected old school regions, it would be nice to get Champ Euro, Challenger, U23 America, and Asia like it used to be. Bring it to SO7. Not sure why so limited. That's not happening. James said, also think the biggest problem with the lack of detail, as has been highlighted by the change, could be amazing, but we don't have the full picture yet. Jeremy said, positive me thinks they're trying to secure leagues before announcing challenger and contender. Vito, what's up? The latest Sorare After Dark is a must watch if anyone hasn't seen it yet. Yeah, I watched most of it last night. I think I have the last 20 minutes left. Vita said, when was the last time you said, oh, wow, this prize pool is so much better than I expected, though? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Jeremy said, also, one league that would be very cool as a standalone and maybe big for marketing would be EFL Championship because of the length and the excitement. Yeah, I guess. Hatlingen, what's up? Thomas said, outside of those high rollers playing unique, I definitely think most users should be in a holding pattern before making any big decisions. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can do that, but you can also decide, well, I'm just out, which I think that some people have done. And so that's it. Anyway, I want to touch on two things right away before I forget. As Scosmo is going to do something to make me forget. If they wanted to consolidate scarcities, what would it have looked like if they had merged limited and rare, binned limited in season, and pumped the limited money up the tree? I think you mean bin rare in season, right? But let me start on this on the limit. Excuse me, on the super rare unique thing, because I know this doesn't apply to a lot of people, but we all know, and I think Jono might still be watching, or Pranksy, or both, have come out very against the decision. And I want to talk about that because I think what they did was, I don't know if there is a word in the English language that describes how bad I think it is. Excuse me. And that sounds very dramatic, but the core reason to compete at the unique level, and Behab, who now I have no idea if that's what he says his name is, Bab. They touch on that in their article, but I think a lot of users on the lower, I was going to say on the lower end of the scale, but I think if you don't play super rare and have never even considered playing super rare, it's really difficult to understand how super rare works, and then ultimately how unique really works in terms of the gameplay. And we've talked about this, I've talked about this on stream before, that if you play limited, and a lot of people think oh, maybe one day I'll play rare. And obviously the price of rare cards is very different, and they're higher than limited cards. And part of the reason for that is because the prizes are a little bigger, but they're actually not much bigger. And there were ideas that talked about on this channel, and I'll give Nashi full credit for that. Nash, I don't even know if Nashi still plays. I would be shocked if he did, to be honest. But one of the things Nashi brought up literally years ago was this idea that the prize pools for the 4 scarcities should be the same, meaning first place in Premier League Limited should be 2,000. First place in rare should be 2,000. First place in super rare should be 2,000. And first place in unique should be 2,000. And the reason that the higher scarcities cost more is because you're competing against fewer people. You pay specifically to compete against fewer people, because it is much easier to beat 900 people than 9,000 people. And it's easier to beat 90 people than 900 people. And it's easier to beat 9 people than 90 people. And so you spend more on your cards in order to compete against fewer people. And I never played unique, but I do play super rare contender, which is obviously going away. But the biggest selling point for me of even considering super rare was there's just not that many people here. And there aren't 3,000 Kimmiches that you have to worry about. There's 30, maybe. I don't even know how many Kimmich super rares there are. But when you get to the unique level, it's oh, there are maybe 5 of a certain player. I don't know. Let's see. I don't even know how many Kimmich. I'll use Kimmich because it feels like the Bundesliga has been around for a bit. Let's see. How many Kimmich uniques are there? Yes, I agree. Cards, all not on sale. 5. How about that? So there are 5 Kimmich uniques on the platform. So when you play Bundesliga unique or champ unique, you're one of these 5 people. Only 4 other people could possibly have Kimmich. And I hate to like call Pranksy out. I'm not calling Pranksy out, but I hate to use them an example, but they have a fuck ton of cards. So like they're gonna do it. They're gonna come up. But the one example I was thinking of specifically with Pranksy is Hakimi. Now they have a Hakimi unique. Actually, I didn't mean to search here. Hold on. So Pranksy has a Hakimi unique. And I was like, wow, that's a cool card. I wonder how many other people have a Hakimi unique. And the answer right here, there are 4 others, including Basil. And it's like, all right, so they go into a competition and they only have to worry about 4 other Hakimi. Hakimi gets 100. And it's like, all right, well, these 4 are the only other people that could have it. I don't even know if these other people play. I think they do. So you go in and you think, all right, I only need to beat 4, I only need to worry about 4 other Hakimis. And obviously the rest of the lineup you've got to worry about. And that's, you pay up so you don't have to worry about that. But now you've got to worry about 38 Hakimi super rares that you're also competing with now. Why would you ever buy the unique? And the response is like, oh, well, you get more rewards. You get a higher payout if you use a unique. But the rewards have to be so much greater to use that unique than to just get the super rare. And you're now competing against everyone who has a Hakimi super rare as well, which from my point of view murders the advantage of buying uniques. Like that's it. It has nothing to do with like, oh, it's a combined prize pool now and what, maybe it's bigger, I don't know. The fact, like the biggest reason to play unique, genuinely, like you could say like the rewards are worth more, but the selling point of playing unique is to only play against a handful of people. You are paying a gigantic premium to say, no, I'm going to play against those 12 people. And now that's gone. And it like, I don't know what feedback they received that anyone who plays unique would want this. Now, I've seen a lot of like people on, obviously on Twitter, who are like, who are the people who thought this was a good idea? Like, who gave the and like, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares who they are? They got this feedback. Now, I do wonder. Well, like, I wonder, like, how many of those people like regularly play unique, because it's like, again, there are just not that many people on the platform that play unique competitions. Period. And so many more people play super rare. So I would expect that they got more feedback from people who play super rare, and they're like, hey, do you want to compete against uniques? And they're like, I don't care. Sure. Cause like, it doesn't really matter. It's harder to get collection bonus on uniques because they're more expensive. They're obviously harder to get. And it's like, hey, do you want to win unique prizes with your super rares? And the response is like, of course. Yeah, that sounds cool. But the people that play unique, like it feels like there's so few people that play unique that they could have asked every single one of them. Obviously, not everybody's that easy to contact and everything, but that decision was just downright astonishing to me. Now, you can go back and say like, well, we don't know what the prizes are yet. And maybe the prizes for playing unique in these competitions, meaning playing a unique card or 5 in this combined scarcity competition, will be so great that it's like, all right, I guess whatever, I guess it works. The problem is that those people are probably at a game disadvantage anyway because of like the percentages that you can get on these super rares. Like the Hakimi, we've got 11%, 13%, 11, 16. Oh, that's a unique. Sorry. So we've got, let's see, card level. So there are 19 Hakimis, super rares, 19 super rare Hakimis that are on level 8 or higher, and 3 uniques, which means the other 2 uniques are less powerful than these Hakimis, than these super rares, excuse me. So the only thing I can think of is that it was just the way that it was presented to people and this is extremely important when it comes to feedback. And I'm not saying that like So Rare worded it in a way that they got the answers that they wanted, because I don't know what I was not somebody that they talked to about this, because they shouldn't ask me anyway. If they came to me and they were like, hey, if you so you play super rare a little bit, what do you think about competing against people that have uniques also, but there's no scarcity bonus? I'd be like, yeah, sure. I don't care. Does it add a few more people to the pool? Probably not, because I don't know that there are that many people who play unique and don't play super rare. So it's like, hey, how about we blow out the prizes because we're combining super rare and unique? And I would sit here as a super rare player and be like, that actually sounds pretty good to me, but I don't play unique, and this is certainly not getting me to play it. And so I just wonder how it was worded, because if it was just simply worded as like, we're considering combining super rare and unique, but you get much bigger rewards if you play uniques. Are you interested in that? Like, the answer is probably like, yeah, I guess so. As long as it doesn't make it significantly harder to win. But the problem is it does. Like, you cannot argue with that. Like, it will absolutely be harder to win now if you're somebody who only played unique and now have to compete against super rare. There's just no way around it. And that just like it that decision genuinely baffled me. And the biggest problem with announcing it, and so the biggest problem with announcing it is that we don't know like what the prize pools are, and so we don't know what the bonus is. Now I'm going to sit here and actually say that I think it's okay that they didn't release the prize pools, because I know that a lot goes into it, and I think it's literally too much for people to handle in one day. Like, I argue with PSU fans too about this every time there's a big announcement, because he's like, none of this matters without the prize pools. And it's like, I don't think most people can handle this much news. Like, we needed 2 blog posts that were extremely long just to get through the changes that they were making without. And now think about like, oh, now you have to go through all of the prize pools, and you're looking at people who are reading for 20 minutes, watching 2-hour streams. And now you basically just double it with the prize pools. It's just too much for people. But it would have been nice to get some sort of indication of what the actual bonuses are for playing uniques, because they have to be just so big to justify this decision. Sorry, I fell behind on the chat just going off on that, so I'm going to catch up here. Limpy said, what I dislike on the arena is that it completely ignores XP. This was, in my opinion, the edge to win in Classic. I agree with that as well. Okay. Hoodwink, what's up? Halligan, hot take. The merge super and unique looks like a pretty good idea going forward. The problem is that it absolutely cucks existing unique holders. But if the platform started today, it would be a good idea. It would be good, in my opinion. Yeah, the problem is that it didn't start today. And I think So Rare are in a really tough spot, because I think that they know what they want the platform to be, but they know they know what they want the platform to be, and making the immediate jump to it ends up screwing a lot of the older users. And it's like, so they have to go through this like transitional period that we are going through to like get to where they want to go with, and trying to devise ways to not like piss off a lot of people. And so they're in a really tough spot. And actually, let me touch on that for a second. Apologies. As I said, I was going to catch up on the chat. And now I'm going off again. I think we need to appreciate that the people who work at So Rare really want this to work. Like, they really want the platform to thrive. They're not here to screw us. And it feels like a lot of the responses are are said in a way where people feel like they're being like targeted, as if the people at So Rare are sitting down every day and being like, how can we screw these people more? Like, obviously that's not the case. They want this game to be great. And there are plenty of limitations that they have that we don't know about. And whether they're with licenses, with legal and regulatory stuff, with basic economics or accounting, really, like we don't know those details. And I don't think we need to know them. But let's at least appreciate that they want this game to be great. And I think a lot of the people who have ideas that they think will make the platform great are actually horrible ideas. And they're horrible ideas because they end up leading to the end of Sorare, where and that's actually a very common theme of the feedback that I saw yesterday, was just the Sorare had this incredible platform and they've ruined it with all of these changes, while completely ignoring that that wonderful platform would have ceased to exist by now because they would have gone bankrupt, or would have just had to reduce the prizes so much because they're not making any more money that we're playing for basically less than we're playing for now. And so you can go do all you want of like going, oh, it was so great back then. Why did they ever change it? And it's like they changed it because they had to. They didn't change it because they were like, oh, this is fun. Let's fuck it all up. Like, that's not what they're doing. Apologies for swearing. So, like, when you decide to like share your opinion publicly, remember these are like human beings at a job doing their best. Does that mean that there are not better people out there for it? No. But maybe there aren't. What they're trying to do is extremely difficult, while creating a platform that has an extremely wide player base that you cannot please everyone all the time. But like, honestly, before you hit send on whatever you're sending, like, remember these are like real people who are trying their best to make this platform as good as possible. Sorry. James said the one classic for in-season utility is massively overlooked. It was a lot of people's biggest fear going in, that everything would be 5 in-season requirements anywhere. It's a great point. Great point. I think there was actually kind of an expectation that they would do that. And they didn't. And not only did they do that, they added streaks, which I'm very bad at. And so I decided I don't like them. That includes a classic. They actually made it better. Andreas said, limited and rare are clearly the scarcities they want to focus their attention on because the amount of cards minted allows them to do much more with the game. Yeah. Scosmo said, but everything they've done over the last 2 to 3 years has been driving the platform into the ground. So whilst it's what they're focusing on, maybe that's the problem. I don't think focusing on the super rare and uniques like moves this any differently. Also, limited was introduced as an entry point to capture new users. I don't think there are many new users to come. Also, build a proper free-to-play mode to bring new users. I disagree that it's not capturing new users. There are plenty of new users who were in this live chat, who joined in the last 6, 12, 18 months, who saw the game as buy these new cards to win cash. And they were like, yeah, I want to play that. Jeremy said, the only positive to the merge is your non-super rare stack can win a unique Yamal. I guess so. Vita said, what hits me the most is that they removed any incentive to purchase in-season unique cards. I don't understand why they would do that. Assuming it's for rewards, why not write it down as a positive? That's a great point. Why, I don't know why you would ever buy an in-season unique. Yeah, I don't know. Smooth Boy said, what are the chances the feedback is a myth and there was none? 0%. Thomas said, my thought wasn't that there was feedback. My thought was that they did an analysis and didn't see the business value anymore of uniques. The business value is literally the thousands of dollars in revenue for a single JPEG. David said, I'm sorry, but they didn't receive any feedback that's super rare and unique, in my opinion. They just want to phase out the upper scarcities, and this is the first step to destroy those scarcities. What's the incentive to get rid of super rare and unique? Genuinely. Charlie said, not that this was the solution, but unique had to change. It didn't work. Nobody moved up to it. A handful played it. At least this offers a bridge from super rare to unique. So maybe the unique market might be busier. That's not true at all, though. Like this, nobody moved up to it is absolutely false. The reason it feels that way is because not many people did it. But that's the point. Like the unique scarcity and unique competitions are meant to be an extremely exclusive group, which is why you pay up for those things. So this idea, like 4 people moving up to unique is a lot. Like there's not like, just because hundreds and thousands of people didn't move up to unique doesn't mean it didn't work. It's an exclusive tier for a small number of people that generates a very good amount of revenue for Sorare. There aren't limited cards selling for thousands of dollars, but there are unique cards that do. My guess is there was no feedback and they just make up their own narrative to fit what they want to do. I completely disagree with you. They've never done enough to try to support the higher scarcities to say that the limited and rare structure doesn't work at super rare and unique. They've never done enough to try to support the higher scarcities. I mean, the one of the biggest points of feedback, excuse me, one of the most important things that they've said recently, and obviously it was in this blog, but they like admitted this maybe a year ago, that like super rare and unique should not be treated like limited and rare. And the people who played super rare and unique saw that and they were like, great, you're right. Thank you for finally recognizing it. And I think that's fine to have a different gameplay for super rare and unique, but not a gameplay of super rare and unique. Unique didn't work, but this ain't the answer. Who on earth is going to buy in-season uniques now? What didn't work about unique? Like, do we think that unique didn't work because we don't know lots of people trying to buy uniques? Like, genuinely, what did not work about unique? Since Sorare's inception, they've never been able to figure out a balanced way to pay both their smaller users and their whales, and they've decided to go down the mass user route. Scosmo said a year. Scosmo, what was that? A year ago or 2 years ago? It couldn't have been 2 years ago. But Scosmo made the line that he and I talked about yesterday, and it sticks in my head all the time. But Scosmo made some comment about the way the game was going, that Sorare was going to sacrifice their first 10,000 users for their next million. And he presented this as like, I get it. Like, I get why they're doing it. And now this, and everybody's like, or he and I were talking yesterday and was like, starting to feel that way. Mike said, am I right in thinking the unique players also nut kicked by losing half of their entries too? So Mike, you're very good at reminding me about things. Remind me about number of entries in a minute. Jeremy said, my cooked idea of the day, it's past midnight here, is that you should be able to merge 2 unique cards of the same player. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, and your card is one half design, half the other. Like a Two-Face unique? I'm not. All right. Charlie said, what genuine feedback would a unique player give? They don't play unique for the fun of it. It's pure ROI. Hard for them to get genuine feedback, I imagine. So also, like, I think most people on this platform play for ROI, and you can sit there and be like, no, I just play for fun. But like, ROI is how we know we're doing well in the game. That's just the way the game is set up. You put in a certain amount of money, and how much you win, that's how you know if you're any good. And some people play unique because they don't want to have to compete against so many people to get that ROI. But to just say like, oh, people who play unique just play for that, like Behab or Bab, that's going to like bother me for a while. Plays his sounder stacks in unique, and like there is something that goes to that where he's like, I'm the only one who can play this lineup, and that's fun for him. So it's not, but obviously he wants to get ROI from it. Sorry, Josh said Bellamont basically sold the best unique of the game, Kimmich, for 1 ETH yesterday, so there's no going back for this scarcity. Why is Kimmich the best unique? I mean, we just said there are 5 of them, so I'm not sure what's great about it. Like, why Kimmich is the best unique? Why isn't it Yamal? Like, how many Yamals are there? I would argue a Yamal unique was maybe better. Yeah, 2 of them. Basil and Bambi have them. I mean, those are pretty cool. Looking for Food said, we should know their user research methods. There's a right way and a wrong way of doing this based on the context of what they are trying to find out. No, we shouldn't. Like it is of no concern, not concern to us, because obviously you seem very concerned about it, but like no business justifies every single little thing they do to their customers. Like their research methods are their research methods. But again, and I said this yesterday, I know that they get feedback from different users because they've gotten it from me before, and it's done in a very professional manner where they record all the videos, they take notes on them, they have excellent follow-up questions. Like I would go as far as to say that their feedback mechanism is robust. Now, that doesn't mean that they're hearing every opinion. And I think that there are a lot of people who probably say things on Twitter very differently than they would say them in a Zoom meeting with somebody from Sorare. I don't know which one is more truthful, but I think when you sit down, like I've had one-on-one conversations with people at Sorare, and I've been in like a group, and it hasn't been, my last one hasn't been for a while, but I think we could all agree that when you're speaking to somebody face to face, even through a screen, you're probably more truthful than the keyboard warriors that we have on Twitter. And that's the feedback that they probably rely on. Ricky said, I think the biggest issue I have is that a lot of what goes into playing Sorare is planning, but if the game has significant changes every year, it makes it hard to plan. Or you plan knowing that there are changes coming up. 1.4 ETH for Kimmich, Upamecano, and Nabry uniques. Who bought them? Who bought these uniques? Oops. I assume Bellamont had like this one. Nope, I guess not. Oh, here we go. Play 2233. So here's someone who is buying into uniques. Oh, wow. Like somebody who's 0.95 for a Musiala unique. They're just a Bayern. Oh, wow. Was this Copter's old one? Not Copter. Oh, yeah. Basil Wenmoon. Is this Sneaky? Did they own that one? Or I forget who had this one. So this is, I mean, this person started buying uniques literally within the last week, and then saw the update yesterday and said, all right, let me add, wow, 0.0, well, Burmo and Cunha, maybe a Man United one coming, but then said, yeah, let me buy these guys, bought Musiala. Who did this one come from? Pranksy? Oh, Bellama too. Obviously, Bellama is not a fan of the changes. Do you think Sorare HQ is in turmoil, or did they fully expect the amount of backlash they received? I don't know. I have no idea. Personally, my biggest issue is that I had 35 lineups in limited and rare. Now to play any of those extra arena lineups, it's going to cost essence to enter. New user, the changes are working so rare to the moon. Scosmo said, Laird, you're being naive. They either definitely are just screwing us to squeeze the pennies and taking the money out before it blows up, or they're all completely incompetent, probably both. So I can't, we are calling people who created a game that like tens of thousands of people play regularly completely incompetent. And it doesn't jive with me. Now, again, I'm not saying everybody who works at SoRare is very good at their job. I don't know. I know like 5 people that work there. And I think they're good at it, but I don't know. Like, how many people do you know that are good at? You probably have best friends. You have no idea if they're good at their job or not, just because they have one. But this whole like screwing us to squeeze the pennies. I mean, I just don't see it that way. But again, I guess I'm being naive. Vita said, I actually think they do not know where they want to go. And that's the reason for the yearly iterations we've experienced. To be fair, it's hard to figure out how to solve both the economics and gameplay. I mean, maybe not. And I'll just go back to the whole like, this hasn't been done before. And so it's difficult for them to know what to do because there's not a playbook. And I think the closest thing to playbooks are other fantasy companies. Because if you want to look at other Web3 games, I'm not sure what you're going to find that you're like, oh yeah, let's do that. Because most of them are gone. Like successful Web3 companies, there are just not that many of them. Or successful Web3 fantasy sports companies or successful Web3 sports. Like there's nothing about any of this that we look at a decision made by SoRare and we're like, this is wrong because like, look at these guys. It's totally different from those guys. And those guys have figured it out. Like just because they haven't figured it out doesn't mean this is like an easy problem to solve. But again, I think even if they came up with the perfect game and knew how to get there, they can't just make that jump because of the existing users. Jeremy said the economics are just so hard on this game. You try something, the shelf life is one whole season, and you don't have enough of a complete data set to figure out if it really worked or not. So, Jeremy, I would argue. So, I read this like in my head when I read the economics are just so hard on this game, as you try and actually make a point in terms of SoRare. Like the economics are super hard for them too. So Josh said, but when the boss comes out last month and says SO7 ain't on their summer plans to then make it their number one selling point for Classic, you have to question anything they say going forwards. I will agree that was really bad. I think that was really bad. Like Nicholas saying SO7, that they're going to test it and then that it wouldn't be part of the summer plan, that they were going to test it. Maybe they consider the summer plan like Club World Cup, but also they haven't tested it yet, at least with their users. They may have tested it internally to make sure it works on their website, but nobody's played it yet. Maybe they're playing it internally, but I think that's pretty bad too, to just rely on your own. And SO7 for Super Rare is super frustrating. Yeah. Anion said, can agree there are more new users. This season, I could finally convince some of my friends to finally start thanks to the in-season format. I think the game is a lot better. It's easier to sell a game where you win cash. Like it's as simple as that. The whole like, yeah, you play these cards to win these cards. And you're like, all right, and then I have to sell the card to get my cash. And it's like, yeah, but whatever. In-season unique in the upcoming season will be a calculation of whether the premium of uniques will be worth the reward multiplier. So Andreas, yes, but also the fact that your unique card probably will have a lower collection bonus. Sorry, my chat just messed up here. Here we go. Howlin unique selling for 300,000 was such a nice free advertisement for them. Without unique, you lose that. Not sure how much it's worth, but it weighs in the visibility a lot. So Vita, it was actually more than double that. It was like 650,000, I thought. And also, they never advertised that. Sorare never once made a deal about that, which people gave them shit for back then. Sorare Josh said, Super and Unique didn't work in terms of essence, just simply not enough cards to give out with how much essence would be required to give out. All right, that makes sense. That's why we never got Arena Unique, which apparently we're getting now. James said, Unique isn't the platform. They realize 90 to 95% of people who use the platform daily are rare and limited. I'm not saying Unique doesn't have a place, but it makes sense to prioritize the 90%. I mean, I think you can prioritize the 90% and not screw the 10%. And you're not even really screwing the 10% because I think super rare players don't care. Like, I don't think combining with Unique is a net negative for them. If anything, it might be a positive, particularly because it's not like people who have Uniques get extra lineups. I do wonder if that would change people's minds. If you had, like, you could multi-enter up to 6 times if 3 of them were all Uniques. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. But I'm just not sure they can afford to go without the revenue from Uniques. Don't forget number of entries if not done so by this. Yes, I'm still not there yet, Mike, though. So the 2 things I want to talk about that I want people to remind me is the number of entries and single league competitions. We said the money they made from the Unique auctions didn't cover the prizes they were giving out for that scarcity, so they got rid of it without warning. Is that true? Do we know that? But also, I'm not sure you need to split revenue and prizes up by scarcity. Why does my live chat keep... Sorry, I keep losing the live chat for some reason. Braden said, I snagged my first ever Unique off Bellama yesterday because it was literally $57 for a fine scoring midfielder. Wow. Who's dropping 2K on digital images just for fun? I mean, probably some people. Vita said, at this rate, do you really forecast for 15 years of utility of Yamal or like 5 with a stretch? I don't even think it's not utility, actually. I was just saying, like, Yamal is he a similar scorer to Kimmich? He's a forward, and there's only 2 of them. Like, my point was, again, back to the Unique thing, that if you're Basil and you have one of 2 Yamal Uniques and he goes off, you know that there's only one other person that can match that. Is there any way to look at Bellama's sales? Have you heard of Sorare data? They said they're going to add that. Speaking of things that were in the update. Jeremy said, play 2223 no Sorare is about to create a Unique comp following the feedback. Maybe they missed the update and think they're getting great deals. Samuel said, if you want to play for fun, you would just play the common free to play. The reason we pay for cards is for the ROI. I don't think that's true, actually, Sam. Sorry, Samuel. I don't like to shorten name. Like, same thing. You play limited because fewer people play limited than play common. James said it's not just the ROI, though. It is definitely a part of it, but the lineup building and gamification of it also makes it fun. If you want just pure ROI, go invest in stocks. And I think he means actual stocks, not Stocks FC, which doesn't exist anymore. He never made a deal, but it was everywhere in the press. Yeah. Yep. Yes, about the Hallen one. If your revenue comes from the top 2%, you can absolutely prioritize them, though, as a company. I mean, weren't they supposed to do VIP stuff? Oliver says, surely with the arena becoming a core part of the new gameplay and a reduction to number of classic comps, Sorare will make Essence easier to earn so people are not starved from buying entries. I think I'm almost caught up in the chat. And so thank you for the reminder on the single leagues and the number of entries. The end of the in-season drop will be even more extreme next year with nowhere to play cards the year after. I mean, will it be if nobody's there to buy? Ryan said, I think consistency in gameplay is a massive factor they are missing. How on earth do you sell this game to a friend right now? I think the game is extremely easy to sell right now. Buy cards to win cash. Do it again the next season. Every fantasy game is seasonal. Premier League's coming up. Buy a bunch of Prem cards, enter them in a contest to win cash. Next August, Prem's coming up. Let's buy some new cards, play some Sorare. Like, you can go into the whole classic thing, but genuinely, if you're selling the game right now, I wouldn't even sell the classic part. You could probably sell this game with you could probably sell this game and tell people that after the year their cards disappear and people would still play. I'm glad that they don't, because I like that they continue and that you have places to play them. But there are lots of people who would play that game. I think there are more people who would play that game than the game of use these cards to win more cards. Olaf said, as someone who has only ever engaged in paid fantasy sports through limited in Sorare, I firmly believe they already make more from limited than any other scarcity. And if not, that is the vision. I mean, they might. I haven't done the maths. Andre said, making more from limited does not exclude making money from the other scarcities, though. You're only limited revenue streams by shutting off scarcities. I think that's the point. Like, yeah, even if you make more money from limited, you still make money from rare, super rare, and unique. So you keep selling them. Is that true? Definitely more limited than common. Are there not more common players than limited players? There were for a while. Any predictions, Laird, for how we can earn the fourth lineup slot? Another consumable to reward similar to XP, extra lineup token if you do poorly. I don't know. They could connect it to a number of things, like your ceiling score, which I really wish they would just make vault the verb. Just Heat said, curious why leagues had to be removed, but would it have made sense to cut all Classic, All-Star, and U23 and keep leagues if we wanted more one-to-one with in-season and Classic? Simon said, if anything, it is easiest to sell for somebody new than somebody who's playing for 3 years. Yeah. Abracadabra said, I expect more FIFA Ultimate Team money sinks in the future, like time-limited promotions and competitions, monthly special cards, daily market missions, typical FOMO things to get more from the masses. Maybe. What did you want to say about single league comps? Thank you, Chris. Now that I'm here. So the announcement said that basically they were going to have more single league competitions. And we're literally 60 minutes in and finally getting to what I wanted to touch on. So we don't know what those single league competitions are going to be. I think there's kind of this general thought that it's going to be Serie A and Ligue 1, and who knows after that. Because we do have some leagues that we have full licenses for, Jupiler, Eredivisie, Austrian Bundesliga, Croatian, whatever they call their league. And then we have some like the Turkish Superliga that we had licenses for previously, and then they cut them to go down to just 4, like the top. We know that they have a couple teams. I was about to call them the top teams, but they have a couple teams in the Danish Superliga. And they have like kind of a smattering in Mexico and Argentina, but those don't have full leagues. So one of the things that I've said for a long time, and this was more in response to when they started expanding leagues out, like when they got a team in Peru or Ecuador or wherever, Colombia, wherever. And it was like, why are they adding these kind of like random spots? And I think what I had said previously was, the reason to do that is so that you can penetrate those markets of, oh, I can buy players from my local team and play in this worldwide football game. And I think that still kind of exists, but it also leads to kind of a path of playing that maybe they, based on feedback, have discovered that people actually don't like. And the meaning, if you love Club Bruges and Jupiler's, maybe it is a good example, but you love Club Bruges, you love some random team in whatever country, and they're on Sorare. And I think the draw was like, use your knowledge of your local team to compete against others to win great prizes. And while that was great for some people, I think there was this weird feeling of, oh, I really like the Jupiler League. And so I'm going to buy like the best players from the Jupiler League. And then you enter Challenger Europe and you get absolutely blasted by PSV stacks. And you're like, all right, so I guess I need to like scout a little more. And now I'm scouting like the whole Eredivisie. And then let me scout Denmark to see if there's anyone there. And you end up going on these sort of scouting quests to make yourself more competitive when really you just want to play your guys from Belgium. And a lot of us who have played this game over the past few years actually reference that as something that we love about the game. I would have never known about Morioka or Cecilia or whoever had I not played Sorare, because the way that I found them was I was competing in certain competitions and they were actually the better scorers. And so you get to learn about those. But to be honest, most people don't want to do that. Like, Sorare has opened up the doors for you to learn so much more about football. And we're all, like, literally everyone here, every single person who is either watching this live or watching it back or listening somewhere, every single one of us knows so much more about football thanks to Sorare. Now, some of the stuff is stuff that we never thought we would really want to know, and it doesn't matter. We know it. And when our favorite clubs, if we like a champion Europe team, when they bring somebody in from wherever, like where's Biscagli going? Bournemouth. You know, if you're a Bournemouth supporter, like, you know all about Olivier Biscagli. And it's just stuff like that. When Cody Hakpo went to Liverpool, everyone who played Sorare knew all about him. And that's a huge plus for some people. It's also not really a way to grow your game. Most people don't want to know that shit. They like their local league and they want to stick with it. And Sorare basically forced them to not do that based on challenger and contender. Oh, you really like the J League? Well, you better learn about South Korea also. Why? Because they got some better scores there sometimes. Shout out to when Cecilia was actually the GOAT. Sorry, Hoodwink. And so I think that Sorare saying, like, yes, we're going to have more single league competitions is because that's what people actually want to play. And I say that kind of begrudgingly because I actually don't really love single league competitions. I like, again, I've been on the platform for a long time. The whole like scouting beyond the realm of teams and players that I know was a big plus for me. But I think I was the outlier basically. And now, granted, there are plenty of, actually, I don't want to say I was the outlier because I think a lot of people joined Sorare because of all of this extra stuff. But I don't think people are going to join for that extra stuff. And what Sorare are trying to do is build a platform for the masses. And it's something that they have said publicly for years of, I think Nicola's line was something like they want to be the biggest sports entertainment platform in the world. This was years ago, probably what led them to get $600 million. You cannot become the biggest sports entertainment platform on the planet. You can't even become the biggest fantasy football game on the planet if you need to know who Cecilia is. You can't. And I think that they're starting to appreciate that and start creating a game where if you love your local league, you can go play that. Like there's probably a reason why there aren't a plethora of multi-league fantasy games out there. Because for a vast, vast, vast majority of people, they love their local league and they want to play a fantasy game for their local league. And I think Sorare is going to move in that direction where they have more single league competitions so that people can play them and not have to worry about all of these guys in other countries that they'll never care about ever again. Now, as somebody who plays Contender and loves it, it's a bummer that it's going. Big time bummer. And I'll have All-Star and arenas and all this other stuff that they're going to come up with. But I get it. I get why they're not continuing with Challenger and Contender. Champ Europe, I think, makes sense because they, if you're going to have a combined one, then you combine the 5 biggest ones. But I think that I don't know how many leagues you're going to get. I think that's the kind of the big thing that we don't know. And my guess is that we don't know that because the license, like this is a big change for Sorare. And so now they have to go back, whether they have, license agreements with these leagues to make cards. It's very different to say, actually, we want to build competitions just for your league. And now it requires renegotiating, and those things are probably not the top of the priority list for these leagues. And so it takes some time, which is why they don't announce them yet. Vita said the amount of people in Europe knowing about Arudi and Valera is really fantastic on a football perspective. That really was the golden age of Sorare for me. Yeah. And there's no way that game becomes like an easily sellable game to get new people to join. James wants EFL League One competition where I only win EFL League One cards. I think there's huge potential of engaging the existing user base. I'd much rather buy those cards than what I have. Yeah, there you go. Bullstar said, I wouldn't be too worried about using Liverpool players in Champ. It's the mid-tier Champ players that go off occasionally who hit the hardest. I mean, maybe. Do you think Sorare want to eventually get to having just the top 5 leagues? I think that if they started today, that's as far as they would go. Yes. I don't know how they feel about the other ones now. Bazzer said, with all the reactions, videos, tweets to the update news, do you think Sorare understands how much change isn't liked amongst its users? I think the reaction videos and tweets don't give a full picture of the user base. And I think that the people who like the changes just aren't being heard because it's not easily shareable stuff. So I just because we see a lot of people who are negatively talking about Sorare doesn't mean that it represents even a majority. I mean, maybe it does, but we just don't know. And so I don't think that they can spend all of their time looking at all the negative comments on Twitter and being like, this is what everyone thinks, because not everyone feels that way. Like I'm in plenty of Discords with people who like my own Discord, patreon.com/Andrew M. Laird. If you want to get in, little as $5 a month. There are people in there who are positive about the changes or excited to see the prize pools. Like they're not those who are like, I'm done. See ya. Just Heat said, as someone who was extremely excited about the MLS single league, the results rewards due to its spinoff from Challenger kill the mode. Almost wish it was back in Challenger with the better rewards. Like the better rewards were the Challenger with the non-MLS Challenger players. Use Gill to win Veerman. And then everyone, like, you can't have an MLS single, like, the response was like, oh, I love single league MLS. And they're like, hey, cool, all of the rewards are MLS. And everyone's like, what? And it's like, that. What are we doing here? Philly Dilly said, if we are going back to Champ All-Star U23, isn't that more, you have to know who Cecchini is versus having Contender and Challenger? I mean, we don't really know what, I mean, theoretically, yes. But again, I don't think those 3 competitions are in any sort of priority for Sorare. Just Heat said, I'm concerned if you divide into too many single leagues, rewards just don't make it worth playing each one. Well, I don't think like the rewards for the J League will be for the Jupiler, maybe it's J League, will be as big as ML. It all depends on how much they think they're going to make from it. But just because you can't win $5,000 playing single league Eredivisie doesn't mean that the rewards are bad versus how much they're going to cost. Abracadabra said single league competitions make sense for them money wise too. Marvin in All Star is one of many, but Marvin in Bundesliga 2 is basically Kimmich with lower reward potential. Yeah. Philly Dilly said the only person I've heard with the changes was Quinny. I've only heard that I like the changes was Quinny, and that's because he's back to Celtic stacks winning Euro Big Five cards, which is funny because McBride seemed like super negative about everything, and he has the same cards, probably better cards. But also, Celtic stacks winning Euro Big Five cards is not guaranteed. They could just win more Celtic cards or J League cards or League MX cards. Hoodwink said, I also think now Hoodwink is also exceptionally positive about almost everything. So, but I also think people that like the changes can't be arsed these days with the backlash of liking things that many don't. Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say at the beginning. Like, don't apologize for liking something. Anion said, I get hurt because I had 3 Prem lineups, 3 Champ, and 3 Bundesliga in season, and also bought a lot of in season J League collections. But I think the changes are good and trust it's a positive. So you have 45 cards basically there, right? 3 lineups of 5, 3 times 45 cards, if I do my math right. And now you're basically saying you're only in Champ for Classic, which is now only 21 cards. 3 lineups with the potential to get to 28. But we don't know what the arena is. We don't know what specials they're going to have day to day. We don't know what the month-long competitions are going to entail. We don't have a PSU video yet because he's away this week. But he thinks the unique super rare thing is absurd. Anion said, on the lineup changes, if I'm honest, in the end, when you compete, you have from like 20 of these lineups, only 3 that you really think have a chance to get to the podium. The rest you just wish to win something. Now that's something that that Nep said in his video, where it's like we do have all these people thinking about all of the lineups that they have. Like most people are not winning with a lot of their lineups, and I think you have to remember that like with fewer entries, you're now making like stronger. Each lineup that you make is stronger, and with fewer competitions, the tail of rewards is now longer. And so you're more likely to win something based with your cards. The new crafting thing will be gold for content, hopefully. Yeah. But again, you'll probably see more of the ones that it's like disappointing as opposed to the people who are actually happy. Hi, Maxine. Yes, I went early today just because I was sitting around. For the MLS comp, I was talking specific to in season and the cash rewards available. Yeah, but again, like the cash rewards we're never going to be comparable in MLS when outside of Challenger. Like it's a significantly smaller group of people. Philly Dilly said the positive spin would be they are really narrowing classic comps and massively expanding arena to cover everything that is getting nuked. But if that's true, the comps have been terrible. Yeah. Yippee ki what's up? Nep's comment under his own video. Guys, you don't have to agree with my opinion, but if you insult me in the comments, you will be blocked. I'm not your enemy. I'm just giving you my views. That's reasonable. MC Sorare said, hey, long time I didn't join a live. Well, thank you for coming in today. I don't think the update is that bad. My 2 cents. I didn't like the contender and challenger groups from the start. Happy I can win Jude with my League 2 classics. There we go. Excuse me. James said there's Champ, U23, All-Star, monthly comps, specials. I thought at first it was only Champ and Arena, but actually on review it could be fun, but need to know the details on these comps. Maxime said the main takeaway for me, they're getting rid of a lot of licenses, but we were told that they were adding licenses. Maybe. Hoodwink said, I didn't say that that was my opinion, by the way, just in general. Will hugely miss Contender Classic and gutted it's gone. Other comps and rewards need to be good for me not to miss it. So how much worse off is Sorare if they got rid of Austria and Croatia and Bundesliga 2 and all of these tiny leagues? Like, we all have those cards and we'd be like, oh, what the fuck? But I don't know, consolidating licenses. Again, I think that they would only do champ if they could. That all falls into like trying to make adjustments while not screwing your entire existing user base. Anion said, I think daily missions are also underrated. No one talks about them, but I think they can and will also be a huge factor. I think the problem with nobody talking about daily missions is that we have no idea what they are. Like, I think a lot of this is just once we start playing, that's when we figure out if we like it or not. Olaf said, I wish there was a way to play private leagues. Me and my friends still play FPL whilst all of us hating the scoring system. So many potential active users out there, even if they would be free to play. I agree. Like, privately, I think the idea of private leagues is a lot better than actual private leagues. But I do think they should have them. Are we just going to smash EFL teams in All-Star now since they play like 40 games? Well, they do, but the games where they play and everyone doesn't, I assume that the rewards are very small. Adding second division Europe and obscure leagues was such a bad idea. So it was a really, like, it's a bad idea in hindsight. I think they add the second divisions before they added, no, obviously, because they would have had Prem already. The second division stuff, I think, was added to give people like this idea that like relegated teams still have value. But looking at them now, you're just like, yeah, why are they here? But also, I think Jeremy said I would keep top 5 in their second divisions. I think you're probably better off having like Segunda Division and 2 Bundesliga than Croatia and Turkey. Philly Dilly, I think if you're so rare, you want to keep some regional licenses like Brazil and Argentina for South America, but no others. MLS, League MX for the North, J&K League for Asia, but eliminate a lot of other Euro and South American licenses. Abracadabra said, how many people are there in Sorare with only contender or challenger clubs with zero interest in the Prem? I would guess it's more than we think. I don't know. I don't play Prem, and I don't know if I will. Like, I actually I don't find much enjoyment in the Prem. Yeah, so we'll see. New deadline for Club World Cup after realigning the game week anyway. Does feel like they make it up as they go. Is there a new deadline? Did they say that? Oh boy. Special deadline for Global Cup. To improve your experience. Oh, wait, sorry. To improve your experience and help you DNPs, we're introducing a special lineup deadline for Club Global Cup competitions this game week. Well, the upcoming game week goes live on Thursday. The Club World Cup kicks off on Sunday. The new deadline for the competitions below, which are the Club World Cup in season and Classic Arena and Coliseum, is now Saturday at 6 p.m. GMT. Is this right? GMT and CET are 2 hours apart? That can't be right. Until this deadline, managers can submit and edit lineups. After this deadline, lineups are locked just like any other competition. Get ready, set your best lineups, and enjoy the Club World Cup. It's funny they wrote Club World Cup. Somebody's going to have to change that. They did it twice. What GMT? Yeah, it's +1, isn't it? So I'm not sure which one it is now. But anyway, so when is the deadline? Saturday afternoon for me? No, Saturday. Saturday? God, this is so confusing. Let me just go to the play. When the hell is the deadline? 22 hours, which is definitely not Sunday or Saturday. I don't know. I'll figure it out. CET is GMT +2 right now. Oh, because it's not GMT. That's why, right? I just consider BST. I don't know. What time? Whatever. UK in summer changes time zone, so it's correct. Right, but they also don't use GMT in the summer. So using GMT now seems weird to me. But whatever. Philly Dilly said, I like the Prem because the league is pretty balanced. Obviously, this year the relegated teams were garbage, but in general, like Liverpool versus Fulham or even City versus Everton isn't going to be 5-0. Yeah. All-Star U23 still has tomorrow as the deadline. Okay. CET is 6 hours from New York. Yes, that I knew. Yeah, and it's 1 hour from BST. Those specific comps will be Saturday, which is so strange since they are why they changed the game weeks. Right, like they changed the game weeks for those. But also, if the Club World Cup starts Sunday, why is the deadline Saturday? But whatever. Oh, so also in terms of the number of competitions we're entering, I just don't think we know yet. Like we keep talking about, oh, we're going to lose so many lineups. And while I think it's certainly possible and probable, the like based on the whole like we'll have special stuff and arenas and they might have league specific arenas where like, oh, maybe that's where you play your extra prem cards, or maybe they'll have no fee arenas where you can win essence or something. Like I don't think we're giving enough we're not giving enough time to sorry, I just noticed that this says 29 essence, which I'm pretty sure is wrong. All right, thank you. I just don't think we're giving enough consideration to kind of these specials and arenas and the month long and like what that's going to look like, partially because they didn't tell us because they don't know the rewards yet. But I think it feels like dramatic because maybe that's the way it sounds. But I'm just not sure the drop in lineups is going to be as great as we think, or that we're kind of saying right now. But we have a month to speculate, which is just great. Lack of knowledge of how the game looks in August is the problem, in my opinion. This is James. This certain uncertainty is what is causing people to be upset. Looking forward to the next update. Yeah. Did the announcement confirm how many lineups are permitted to be entered in U23 and All-Star? Would unlimited lineups in All-Star be a good or a bad idea? I think it's a bad idea. But I think it's 3 in All-Star and 3 in U23. What they sort of hinted at now is that we're going to have All-Star divisions. Like they said that divisions will be, there will still be 3 divisions in all core competitions. The 3 core competitions are All-Star, U23, and Champ Europe for Classic. So maybe we're going to have All-Star divisions. The reason why they changed from Friday to Thursday was because of an MLS game that will be played on Thursday, not because of the Club World Cup. Why didn't you just put that in the midweek? They could have private arenas as an alternative to private leagues. Yeah, they could. Simo, what's up? CET to GMT is -2 unless you live in Burnley, in which case it's -57 years. It's a good one. Yeah, 3 with the potential of 4, but we don't know what you do. Yeah, we don't know. Sorry, Mac. Would you prefer fitness instead of useless classic cards. You mean sealing instead of, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I would just be wary of what you see on Twitter or in Discord. Not weary, because there are people who are like appropriately upset. Also, only 66 people have liked this stream, and there's 122 of you here right now, which, like, surely we should be able to get to 100. Surely. But I think it's also important to stop. This is going to come out like I'm telling you how to feel, but I promise it's not. But I think you need to stop with they had a great game, they should have kept it as is, because it's just not possible. It literally would be the equivalent of you the new bank opened up by you, and they said for every dollar you deposit, we'll give you 700% interest. And you're like, this sounds great. And for a little while, it's like, oh, look at all this. This is the greatest bank I've ever been a part of. And you make all this money. And then all of a sudden they're like, so we're going to have to change this because we have no money left. Or we're going to have no more money. And then they change it and you're like, all right, whatever, I'll take 500%. And then eventually it goes to like 3%. And you're like, this sucks. This used to be the greatest bank ever. And now it sucks. I'm leaving. And you have to appreciate that the bank just wouldn't exist anymore. Sorare wouldn't exist anymore if we kept going. So just stop it. Stop saying you want to go back. Maxime said, would you prefer to pay with cash or essence a low fee so your classic cars can compete with in-season or be restricted to classic divisions? I mean, we can play classic. Although I will say somebody asked me why you can't buy energy in MLB. And it's like, oh, it's an interesting point. Do you think the change to SO7 was needed for super rare and unique? I have no idea. Like, that's not, I don't have any data that would say one way or the other. And frankly, I have no care to look into it. Maybe it does. Maybe it was needed. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But we move on. At least those of us who want to, well, we move on in two ways. We either keep playing or we get out. But I think we all know that there is a third way, and that's to stay and complain all the time. And that's what we'll hear the most of. Fitness and burning will be the topic of our next office hours. Get ready. Meaning we should have done fitness, or they're going to bring that next. Adriano, SO5 is gone for classic competitions. Yeah. Gone for classic competitions, yeah. But not for classic cards, because the arena is still 5, as far as we know. I don't think you can. I think there are a lot of people who don't like the arena because they don't like spending essence to get in or whatever. But I think as a game mechanic, it's great and gives people the opportunity to win differently. Not more necessarily, but just differently. And speaking, it's like again, you're basically like a unique player now. You're playing against 9 other people or 99 other people, not 9,900 people. Fitness is the only way to make classic relevant again, but it's probably too late. Maybe. Ethan Cooper said, I know they're doing the thing where they're rewarding teams with no stacking or high capped players, but I wish the new all-star comp had the anti-stack rule permanently. It's difficult with SO7 though. I mean, you could just also say no more than 3 for SO7. Adriana, there's a fourth way: stay, complain, and spend more. Oh, you're right. That's actually probably more relevant than to just stay and complain. Topsy, Laird to lighten the mood. Is it a poor mood? I feel like we're still light. What are we having for dinner? It's 11:31 a.m. for me, so I haven't thought about dinner. Um, what's in the loyalty box? I I think what we should all do when we think about the loyalty box and the expectations for it is think of the absolute lowest thing that would be acceptable and then go a little lower and then cut that in half. And that's what we should expect. Addies, addicts. I don't know. I feel like Arena is going to look way better than most people expect. A lot of people are stuck with the concept that Arena will necessarily cost 10 essence to enter and have a cap of 260. Totally agree. Totally agree. OG 2.0 badge. Spend more to complain more. Special DNP weekly could be SO7 and best 5 cards scores only once a month or so. Adriana, there is no more Prem Classic. The only classic competitions now are All-Star, U23, and Champ Europe. Not now, but like starting soon. Maxime said, I hope my loyalty box is absolutely insane because my loyalty has gone a long way. I mean, what have you done for this platform, Maxime? What would be your ultimate money can't buy Sorare prize? See, that's the problem is that like anything's buyable in real life. Common XP in the loyalty box. Jeff said 2 essence and 1 Sorare sock, not even a pair. One-month subscription to the Patreon in 10% of the loyalty boxes. I mean, I would love it if Sorare paid for people's Patreon memberships. Yeah. My first thought for a loyalty box was a hat or t-shirt. So if I should lower my expectations that it will probably be Sorare sweatband. I don't think it's going to be physical, like physical stuff. I think it's like digital box. I'd be down for game tickets. Maybe they're going to give out all the jerseys that they usually give Pranksy. 74 likes on this video, guys. Come on. Market credits would make the most sense in the loyalty box. So abracadabra, I assume you're very serious about this, but it's actually I find this very funny because it would be very so rare to be like, thank you so much for your loyalty to the platform after all these years. Here is something that requires you to spend even more money to benefit from it. They will put in a blog post that Patreon subs will be in the club shop, then never talk about that commitment again. The Patreon memberships will be posted as soon as the Sorare data memberships are available for coins. I just sold a super rare legend for $200. We are so fucking back. Sorry for swearing. Andy Black, one thing I find interesting is names popping up in the community that I haven't seen in a long time, really enjoying the turmoil in the community right now. Pretty crummy. Andy, totally agree with you. It's like the whole, like some people just like to watch the world burn. It's like, it's gross. It's gross. Could we have a so rare with Laird mug in the loyalty box? Oh, that would be fun. I don't even have a so rare with Laird mug. But yeah, I don't understand the I don't understand all of the people who are like thrive on seeing people being upset about Sorare. It's like I just can't. I just can't. Thankfully, like I don't have that in my being. Adriana, yes, 3 entries for Classic Comps that will now be SO7 in those 3 core competitions. But there is apparently a way that you can get a 4th, but we don't know how yet. Aaron said, sorry if it's been spoken already, but 4 in seasons for streaks next season, good, bad, or void. It's 3, but a chance to get a 4th. So I don't know but we don't know, what you have to do for the 4th. So who knows? Yeah, I don't know. I was told yesterday, I believe, Hoodwink said, I mentioned that as well. Lots of old names popping up in the Discord claiming Sorare is dead. Very strange behavior. Yes, but I think he means 4 in season. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. 4 in seasons. Yeah. 4 in seasons for streaks, which actually, if you play MLS, it's going to be, that's starting like soon, not. Yeah, sorry. Thank you for clearing that up. Maxime said, I think it's easy to be mad at something when you lost a lot of money and think it's because of the platform and not your decision making. In fairness, Maxime, I think that there are plenty of people who lost a lot of money because of their decision making. I think there are some people who lost money because of the platform. But the coming in and like basically laughing at everybody who's still here and laughing at anybody who still likes it is just like, I don't get it. Do we think the changes are because the current model is unsustainable? Like, why make a change at all? I think they saw that a lot of people were liking this and they were like, we can't have this. And so they're going to change everything just because people don't want to have people be happy. I'm just kidding. Like, obviously the current model doesn't work well enough. So they're making changes to make it work. And nobody knows what's going to work. Like nobody. And so they have to try stuff. Like they have to make changes to make it work. Like you can't continue with an unsustainable business model because eventually you just go to zero. And so like why like you have to make changes. But again, like whatever. The people coming in and celebrating the others being upset about the gameplay changes it's weird. Classic is dead has been the main mantra. They probably think that they are making it more engaging. It might be more engaging, Andreas. We don't even know. We don't know. Breaking people on the internet suck. Fripp, there are plenty of people in real life that suck too. But also some great people on the internet. You're one of them. Although we've hung out in real life, so maybe that doesn't count. With SO7 increasing the odds of DNPs, I'm wondering what the best strategy is. Play guaranteed starters, or, as the competition will be so fierce, play the players who can smash but might rotate out. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We don't know. I know that was looking at buying cards today, which seemed crazy. Jeremy, thank you for staying up. It was a very late night for you, so thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in. Olaf said, I'm looking forward to day one of the new season when Andre Onana sells for €1,000 and everyone forgets about the summer. What did the first Onana rare cost last year? Rare in season 1 year. Oh, 700. Is that the one of? I can't even tell. Oh no, they didn't do one ofs right away. So 728 was the Onana peak. I'm glad I don't have to handle 7 card lineups on SD. What's nice, Maxime, is that they probably wouldn't have told us about it until like the day it came out. Have we entertained a best ball style with a bench slot DNP solution? Yes. I kind of brought it up yesterday, just in terms of that actually might not have been on stream, but like SO7, but only your top 5 count. Um, but whatever. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. I do know that the so the three words, 3 things that were glaringly missing from the announcement yesterday: challenger, contender, and DNPs. And I think the reason they didn't say anything about DNPs is because they don't have a solution. And not that they don't have a solution. There are plenty of solutions and they all have flaws. Like every single one has a flaw. And I don't know how they're trying to decide on which ones to use, whether it's the one that is the most active, the least active, that cuts the most number of DNPs or whatever it is. But whatever they come up with is going to bother some people. Um, and we'll just see how they adjust. Challenger and Contender Classic is in the blog now. Let's check it out. Control F, Challenger. This new competition structure replaces the current Classic structure, Classic League specific Contender Challenger. So that's what they're. That's not like the. So no Contender. I think the thing that bothers me right now is we still don't know about Contender in season. And so we'll see. Yeah, nothing about in season. What's the flaw in dynamic deadlines? That you constantly have to be you constantly have to be on. The fact that we have a moving deadline for this game week and I read it 3 times and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like eliminating DNPs is like there's a way to eliminate them that is extremely user intensive, and it's just the whole like basic late swap. What's the flaw with the top 5 best scorers only scoring points in an SO7 lineup? Just curious. It's not that there's that's not really a flaw. It just also doesn't guarantee DNPs are eliminated. Fantasy NFL has always allowed you to replace a player until kickoff. Yeah, and DFS does it too. The problem is for the people that have lineups all over the world at all different times that you constantly need to make sure you check lineups. How do you think Sorare would look today if they never introduced one of the thousands? I think it would be incredible. I think it would be either dead or completely different than what we had before limiteds came. Again, Sorare was always very open about being the biggest sports platform in the world. And to do that, it had to become accessible to everybody or anybody, not everybody. And $5,000 J League goalkeepers is not accessible. And so at some point, they would have gotten to a level where no one else wanted to play. And so now you just have like the same people trying to play, pushing prices nowhere. And they don't sell any more cards because everybody has them. You can have auto subs set. Well, yeah, that's a different idea though. Auto subs is different than late swap. But like Alex, no limiteds. The sustainability of the platform doesn't, or in unsustainability, excuse me, the unsustainability of the platform remains even if we never had limiteds. Buying cards once and being able to win cash from them forever doesn't work. Yes, Maxine, it's a solution to yeah, there are plenty of solutions. But again, we want the game to be easy, right? Should have kept people's rivals tickets to use as arena tickets. Oh, that would have been awesome. James said the NFL has 4 game times and only 16 games a week, which I think is absolute. Well, one, two, three, four, five game times. But you're right. Like I I don't want. So I've said this a long time. Like I don't want Sorare to tell me when I have to play outside of the 2 deadlines. If I'm out on a Saturday enjoying myself, and then I get an update, oh, so and so is not in the starting lineup, and I need to do something about that. I have no interest in that. That's like a frustrating experience for me. Um, yeah, that's it. Um, agree with the take that it's different. Global game time, global game with infinity start times. I mean, you could say like, oh, don't just play the prem, and the prem only has, was it one, two, three, four? Well, it's potentially 4 on Saturday and like 3 on Sunday, and maybe they have a Friday. Like just that. I don't want all of those notifications to have to do something. But what did I say, Maxine? That didn't make sense. FPL is a set lock for the game week. Yeah. I don't think we need to like emulate FPL. They also have subs. Like at some point, would we rather them go to SO 10, but it's actually just 5 subs? It's also the balancing and rebalancing every lineup dependent on who scores well early. Yep. You nailed it, Andreas. That's if they let you take cards from other lineups. And FPL subs suck. Yep. I don't know. I think they're going to have to do something because the like SO7 DNPs are going to bother people. And like more lineups means. Alex said, you make a good point. I'm thinking back to the good old days where you sat on your gallery and milked threshold. Exactly. Like that can't exist anymore. Talking about locks and deadlines, didn't they mention that some arenas will open in the weekends? Yeah, I think they'll just fill those when they, when like if people want to play, like, all right, I know who's starting, and that'll be part of the game that you can play with late swap. Fripp said, I just tried to open Sorare data out of muscle memory. I did that the other day. I deleted the app from my phone. I wanted to check a floor price, open tab, psi, close, and I still don't know the floor price. James said, I already stress enough 18 weeks a year at 6 p.m. on Sundays. I don't need Sorare all weekend, all year as well. Yeah. Ben said, but they introduced in-season and classic as being the update to make them sustainable. In this update, an admission that last year's update failed. Well, in-season is not any different. So I think in-season, like it's not any different. If you want to say like, well, there's no contender and challenger, and it's actually in season, or the single leagues that take, like that's different. Like, yeah, maybe those leagues did make sense, and they got all this feedback that people want single league comps. But I think in season worked, was a success. I mean, I think most people who play in season like it, and I think classic didn't work, and so yeah, I think the last year classic failed, and so they tried to do something else. Ricky said, the more I think about it, the more I like SO7, but only the top 5 scores count. Halligan said, I'm 100% sure a bench lineup for each competition would be the perfect solution, with some drawbacks like points penalties or L15 caps. I actually disagree that you need points caps. or penalties. It really doesn't matter. Like the reason why those are actually perfect solutions is like if you have an excellent player on your bench and they sub in, like they were either going to be in anyway, or they don't sub in, and now that's an excellent player that you're not competing against. Um, the first line of the update says in season was a success. Yeah. Wasn't DraftKings Rainmakers in season to begin with? Yes. Maxime and I did a show in office hours. I mean, it must have been 2 or 3 years ago at this point, talking about Rainmakers and how Sorare could follow them. And everybody called us crazy. We were like, you guys will ruin the game. And here we are 3 years later, and the game is still going on and looks just like Rainmakers. Lord Echo just started the stream. Just started. I mean, we're like an hour and 52 minutes in. But I have to say that I do appreciate your general optimism, positivism towards Sorare. This is way too much negativity and entitlement. I'm also possibly just naive, but thank you for your kind words. Moso said SO7, but only the top 5 scores count sucks, in my opinion. Having to play your 7 best players in one lineup, automatically wasting 2 of your 7 best scores suck, in my opinion. Well, 2 of your 7 potential scores. One thing the update does help with is transfers. For example, if Emi Martinez, who I have 2 rares of, leaves Villa for La Liga, I don't need to buy 2 Prem goalkeepers to replace him as Prem Classic has gone. It's a nice way to look at it. Rainmakers is not no more because of business, though. That was a legal reason, that legal or regulatory thing that DraftKings didn't want to deal with. I mean, maybe it wasn't successful economically, but I'm fairly certain that was not the reason they discontinued it. Yeah. Oh, so I wish I had like wasted scores in lineups I thought would be good. I don't think I'm good enough for that anyway. So yeah. I'm going to stop now unless we're at 100 likes. If we're not at 100, then I'm going to stop. 85. Sorry, guys. You had your chance. Rainmaker's business model was still way superior to Sorare's today. So, Maxime, I would argue that Sorare's trying to get to Rainmaker's business model, but they can't do it immediately, and so that's why we keep getting these gameplay iterations. And so, yeah, there's that. Fripp said, cool story that only happened due to Sorare. I went to Dalian in China and immediately get a DM from someone who had connections to the local CSL team, got me 10 of 10 seats to a 50,000 CSL game. Wow. So are we getting an office hours soon? Maybe. Mike, we're at 34%. Sorry. The Rainmakers model was NFT cards to play fantasy NFL and use those to win cash. And then the next season, you use those cards to win other cards. Oh yeah, they did have packs. I forgot about that. Wasn't it just individual player packs though, Maxime? It was multiple players. I can't remember now. Mike, I did start at 100, but I'm actually lower now. I'm going to send you a doc with a power source. We need 4-hour streams. I actually was looking at docs yesterday, so don't worry. Don't worry. We're getting there. I don't know if I can sit that long. I got to get a standing desk. They had 5 sets over the season. Oh, okay. Yeah, different scarcities and stuff. It was a cool idea. Office hours, we are so back. Yeah. I mean, there may be some even more content from Maxime and I. Who knows? Fripp said, if I remember correctly, I got a I got a Mahomes that entitled me to $2.53 in the shutdown settlement. Halligan said, quick aside, I'm kind of concerned about the special event calendar going away. I quite like that. I mean, who knows? There's going to be special stuff. The licensing cost was too high, I think. Oh, maybe. Could we spend essence to get packs like one random playable player plus 2 tier 4/5s that would bring back old time of physical cards? No packs. Let's not even talk about packs on Sorare. Yeah, no. Now that I'm in an hour and 56 minutes, I'm like, I gotta go to 2 hours. Did Harry and I go to 2 hours yesterday? I think we did. 209. I'm not sure I'm getting there, but packs are allowed as long as you don't pay for it. I don't know where we are where we're not paying for things. Crafting's just a 1-card pack. Bring back the Laird chemistry skit like when Essence first dropped. K-Lamp, you did a 4-hour MLB stream on Monday? That's crazy. Halligan, we're launching this huge fun comp tomorrow, but you have to buy an exactly 57 L15 player with this special design before lock in 2 hours. Yeah, if I get a standing desk, I would consider more. New form of crafting comes very close to packs. I think it comes very close to poker or blackjack. Probably blackjack. Although you don't get multiple cards for blackjack like that. There's no river. I don't know, whatever. So yeah, I'm trying to like look back on the Sorare list I have, or not the Sorare list, the Sorare search on Twitter to see if people are still upset. I will say the nice thing about Twitter is the ability to translate so quickly, and it's like it's fun to see like how many people all over it's literally all over the world. Like this random one that popped up here is from Elliot Colborn. Classic wasn't broken until you guys made it into 3 divisions. Where there were 5 divisions, there were more people spaced out to more divisions, and it was more rewarding because people who division 5 to 3 were playing in an equal playing field, and now we don't have that. So like Classic wasn't broken until like 6 months ago. So that's encouraging. Like this is the feedback that you get on Twitter. And the constant people using the capital R. Oh my God. Anyway, I might try to buy some cards from Pranksy. I wonder if they're still there. Let's see. Oh no. Oh. One of the ones I wanted to buy is gone. Damn. Wait, maybe. Oh man, that's a real bummer. Hold on. I was going to buy some Champ Classics. Genuinely. Ah, but he sold it. Damn it. Can anybody tell me why Marc-Andre Ter Stegen is half the price of Thibaut Courtois? Let me see. Did he actually sell this card? I'm going to basilbot.com now to look. Damn, $80 for Ter Stegen. Ugh. I actually would have paid more than that. Nep's channel has the capital R. Yeah, that bothers me too. Ooh, Ryan, I like this one. Capitalize the second R. Ricky, I was also thinking about a walking pad. You need to get yourself one of those in real life streamer backpacks so you can stream during your walks. I don't even, what is that? A streamer backpack? Holty said, Black, I have an arena idea for you. Shitular arena. Everyone enters one card. Lowest score wins all the cards. I think they should just do a shitular arenas, though. Ter Stegen questionable to stay at Barca. Oh, all right. That's fair. $80 though. It's cheap. Ter Stegen also more injury prone than Kikuchi, who I just won recently. But yeah, man, that's a bummer that he sold that card. Let's see. Yeah. Ooh, I lost my my list of cards I was going to try to buy from him. I was going to even do a little bundle. Oh yeah, here's the other one. I don't want to tell you guys what it is because I know you're going to go snipe them. And it'll ruin the video I make. Like, look at these cards that I bought from the biggest whale on the platform. Anyway. Sorare's point. Sorare score the least points with one player, but DNPs are 100. Now we're talking. That's, I mean, that was the rule on Shitulars. DNPs were 100. Hallian, yeah. Yeah, so let's do it tomorrow. I'm going to do a Sorare stream tomorrow. And thanks to Hatlingen, we're going to give away a Mohamed Salah limited card. And now that I've said it on stream, we have to do it, Hatlingen. But I'm also going to give away the Ghent and Sparta Rotterdam limited collections, which look like this for all of you looking to seal cards. Coming up, I'll run the wheel of names and we'll see. Let's see. This Ghent one has 25 cards, of which you'll probably seal 22 of them, maybe 25, who knows? Or 20, yeah, all 25. And then this Sparta Rotterdam's 21. Not as fun in terms of sealing. The Salah one is it's not this season. It's like the season before 2020. What is it? 2023, 24, something like that. Now you give them away with no Challenger Classic. Oh, James, you're right. You're right. I didn't even think about that. Oh, I didn't even think about that. So if you are not a paid member of the Patreon, you don't get in on the giveaway. So you have to be a paid member, patreon.com/Andrew M. Laird. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. The higher tier membership you get, the more entries into the wheel of names of who wins it. But we'll give them away live on stream tomorrow. I might be here alone. Andy's traveling, so there's no Sorare Andrews this week. Apologies for that. Well, Andy really should be apologizing, not me. I'll be here. So if you are listening to this or watching this on Wednesday, June 11th, you have basically 24 hours to join the Patreon. Or actually, it's probably less now if you're watching this back or listening back. But let's tentatively say 12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Thursday. So that would be 5 p.m. in the UK, 6 p.m. in Central or the rest of Europe. And we'll give away that Salah Limited, the Sparta Rotterdam collection, and the Ghent collection. Let's have some fun. Thank you to everybody for coming. If you could please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny. Last check on how many likes we have. Was really hoping to get to 100 during the stream. 96. All right, there's 116 of you here, which means even if all of you liked the stream, or even if all 96 of the likes are people in the stream right now, we can get to 100. We're 97, I just refreshed. And this isn't a way for me to like continue going just to stay here. But now I realize I'm putting myself in a corner here that I have to stay on until I get 100. And I don't want to do that either. So I'll say something like, man, I would have given away more things had we gotten to 100 likes live during the stream, but we didn't get there. So it is what it is. So yeah, thanks everyone for coming. For those of you who want to participate in the giveaway. Join patreon.com/AndrewMLaird. Little as $5 a month. You could even look at it as $5, like a $5 entry to this giveaway, which maybe is gambling, and I shouldn't have said that out loud, but we're 2 hours and 5 minutes in, and so this is just where we speak the truth. So yeah, thank you everybody for coming. Just remember, if you still like Sorare, it's okay, and make sure you get outside.